Realize money, peace, and blessings. All right, we're getting into the Mercury Stambhana situation of Vedic astrology. Stambhana being the situation as to where a planet becomes frozen, or its main significations don't function as properly as they should, right? And yeah, so when Mercury becomes Stambhana, Mercury is in conjunction with K2 or the South Node, and the reason for this particular frozenness, or the stealing of the mercurial function, the stoppage of its natural capacity, Mercury being in conjunction with K2. Mercury it represents the intelligence, right? The intellect, the worldly discernment, your ability to leverage, your ability to make sense from a logical standpoint of the reality around you, right? Mathematical accuracy, agility, dexterity, you know what I'm saying? Uh Point A, B, C, D, E, F, G, logical order, numerical order, uh you feel me, like Rubik's cube functionings and algorithm and things of this nature. You feel me? Mercury deals with all of that. It's also Mercury is also like a teen or an adolescent or a young prince, if you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? He's very cool. He's sociable. You know what I'm saying? He's witty. He's cunning, smart, quick. You know, um, Mercury knows how to work smarter and not necessarily work harder, right? He knows how to leverage his efforts. He knows how to get a lot from doing a little bit, right? That's Mercury and whatnot. And well, those are just the base level significations of Mercury. I'm sure there's some shit that I'm leaving out, but I'm just going off the top of the head with the video. But yeah, so get into it. So when Mercury becomes Stambhana with K2, this is like placing this young, playful, worldly teen prince or whatever in the company of a dirty yogi who's solely concerned with moksha and spirituality and all of these, spiritual things and whatnot, right? The prince is just trying to enjoy it. The prince is trying to, experiment. He's trying to talk to girls. He's trying to hang with his homies or whatnot. He's trying to party. You feel me? He's trying to, you know what I'm saying, get some money or find out different ways and schemes and ideas or whatever as to how you can get some money or some popularity or some TikTok followers and all these different things or whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? This is the mindset of the prince. You feel me? Trying to go to the next football game or sports betting and all of these different things. The prince is just really motivated for accumulation and fun and whatnot, right? But the yogi, the yogi is concerned with pulling one away from worldly attachments, pulling you away from the illusions of duality, pulling you away from being so immersed within the game of life, right? Believing it to be real and whatnot, right? And so K2 hits the weak points, right? So when Mercury comes into contact with K2, one thing that an individual can have a problem with is feeling like whenever they try to do efforts or whenever they try to plan things or whenever they try to discern in relation to certain aspects of reality, that it's like some invisible mystical force just lays ashes to their plans or to their efforts or whatnot, right? Mercury and K2 can kind of feel like, you know what I'm saying, your something is wrong with your discernment, or you know what I'm saying, your ability to discriminate within reality properly. You feel me? It can feel like your plans and your efforts are kind of like tied up in a hit or miss type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Mercury, when it comes in to conjunction with K2, it can show that an individual can have a sharp intuition, though, which is the good thing about this combination. You can have a sharp intuition. You can have a sharp ability to introspect or to see into actual spiritual matters. You know what I'm saying? Because Mercury, wherever it sit, wherever it sits and whoever it sits with, Mercury is smart. He's intelligent. He's a quick learner. So he's able to pick up the ways of whatever he sits with, right? So being with K2, it'll give a person, some of these people can be readers or whatnot, natural readers. You feel me? Psychics, whatever you want to call them, and all that, have strong spiritual intuition or whatnot. But when it comes down to the physical, earthly aspect, it can be like breaks and actually manifesting the more worldly capabilities of Mercury in a continuous basis, at least, because Mercury is quite consistent. But when Mercury comes with K2, it shows breaks in the consistency, right? So one way that this can manifest, you know what I'm saying, certain periods of the life, you can probably have, you know, good amount of financial activity coming in. You know what I'm saying? You could have, you feel me, even large sums of money that you're leveraging, because Mercury does know how to make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Virgo actually is a major sign for making money. I know a lot of people said Virgo deals with debts, diseases, taxes, loans, litigation, and all these different things, which is true, lawyers or whatnot. But you feel me? If you know how to properly manage your debts, if you know how to intelligently manage your loans, litigations, you know what I'm saying, lawyer, if you know the law properly, know how to discriminate properly, and fight them battles in court and whatnot, you can save yourself a great deal of money. And not only that, you can make an exponential amount of money, right? With knowing the laws of your job and suing your job, and getting compensated for thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatnot. And yeah, just having the intellect to be able to capitalize on your reality. That is what's shown by a sharp Mercury or whatnot, right? And when Mercury comes with K2, it can show that there will be breaks within this ability. So there may be certain times to where you can have a lot of money coming in fairly easy due to some special type of intelligence or knowledge that you may hold within yourself. But then other times you may feel like, you're just at life's mercy when it comes to you trying to discriminate, or when it comes to you trying to understand, or you feel me, doing every logical process or doing every logical thing you would think to do in order to go about a means of success. K2 can kind of, evade the individual in that way and make the individual understand you can't necessarily rely solely on intelligence to uh, maneuver the way through life or whatnot, right? Life, the life process, you know what I'm saying? Existence itself is beyond just a logical thing, if you want to call it. It's beyond discrimination. It's beyond intellect. You feel me? Some things don't make sense, or some things are beyond law, are beyond rule, are beyond duality and whatnot. And you're never going to be able to try to outsmart that or try to outthink, those particular things or whatnot, right? And yeah, when Mercury comes into contact with K2, it can also show nervous system issues, traumas to the nervous system, you know what I'm saying, that might manifest as serious health issues within the body and whatnot, inflammation to the nervous system or whatnot, uh, like burning pain uh, onto some of the nerves and whatnot. What else it can show? Brain issues possibly as well, or neurological issues. You know what I'm saying? You know, things that deal with relaying messages throughout the body. Like, you feel me, the nervous system or whatever, even the lymphatic system or whatever, you feel me? It can show that K2 being with the Mercury, it causes like a burning up or somewhat of a chaos, a roughness in the flow with a message or whatnot, which can cause, different forms of complication within the body, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Uh, what else can Mercury K2 show? Uh, Mercury in K2 can show an individual that might have the tendency to go into a mode of analysis paralysis, if you want to call it that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like being indecisive. What else? What's the word that I'm looking for? What do they call it? Hyper analyzing or hyper criticizing or whatnot. I don't know exactly. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it's like you're analysis paralysis. You're in a state to where you can see a situation from so many different angles and so many different possibilities. The person doesn't know exactly which roadway or which path to take, and they pretty much freeze and they don't take any particular path or whatnot, right? Especially if Mercury is the stronger uh celestial body within this particular combination, right? If Mercury is the stronger one, like if it's in Virgo, whatever, it can cause a lot of inner criticality towards the self or towards others or whatnot, right? It can cause a hyper ability to notice the problems, the issues, you know what I'm saying, what's going wrong, the brokenness of the life process or the things that are manifested in reality. It can cause a hyper discrimination towards that which you don't want. And we manifest our reality by our thoughts, by what we think, by what we believe, and what we carve from our perception and whatnot, right? So having this type of mind, especially since Mercury is with K2, K2 is going to show the habit, the subconscious habit, a deep seated subconscious habit, something that you're not even necessarily aware of, something that you just do, something that you're just on autopilot with. So when Mercury coming to contact with K2, if Mercury is stronger, it can show that, you feel me, the complaining ability on the inside, the discrimination ability on the inside. You know what I'm saying? The nitpicking, the all of that. They can show that is at a hyperactive level and can lead to a lot of nervous tension, can lead to a lot of stress, can lead to a lot of hormonal fluctuation, can lead to a lot of, an individual pretty much being in a state of analysis paralysis and not knowing how to properly organize or, you feel me, bring structure to the life process or whatnot. What else? Mercury K2. Uh, Mercury has a certain role to play within sex or whatnot. So Mercury and K2, to a degree, it can show that there may be an element of bisexuality within the individual or gender neutrality. You know what I'm saying? Gender fluidity. It might be something that's not necessarily left or right. 100% about this particular combination. Like even if it's a woman who may have never openly, you know, came out as a lesbian or anything like that. Like you'll notice, like in certain of her mannerisms or actions or things that she does, her activity, her expression or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You'll notice that. You feel me? Even though she might not necessarily sexually engage with men, at least or women rather, right? Even though she might not necessarily do fuck women on an open basis, but you know what I'm saying? She does express a level of masculinity as to where, it's noticeable that she's not just a normal girly girl or anything like that, right? And Mercury and K2, it also can show the individual. Mercury is not a planet of commitment. It commits for a period of time, but it's not anything that's long, like uh like contractual work. It is a contractual planet. So you know what I'm saying? Uh I don't know, you get contracted for a job out of state somewhere, you're gonna be working on the job 2, 3 months, maybe 6 months at a time, and you fulfill your work, you get paid, you get compensated for your duty and whatnot, and then you move on to the next. It's like you keep moving, keep switching, you know what I'm saying? Doing something different, trying something different, variety, experience, yada yada yada, etc., etc. And yeah, with this particular combination, it can show that Either there might be a lot of, experience uh within the relationship capacity, or an individual can be a player of some sort, if you want to call it, right? Or the individual can have the tendency to approach relationships with the mindset of lightheartedness. You know what I'm saying? It's not deep. I'm not trying to put my soul in this, person or anything like that. You feel me? This is just, an experience for the moment. We doing what we doing for right now. I'm not necessarily looking for anything long term, or, married down the road, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Mercury and K2, when they conjunct, it can cause, this type of natural personality manifestation within a person. Not to say everybody with this combination is just not able to get married. It's definitely not true, and it definitely relies on the rest of the chart dynamics to get the full scope of the picture. But when it comes together in this way, Mercury and K2, regardless of what their place, it can often showcase that, you know, uh long term commitment is not necessarily a thing, and it can switch over to various areas of life, not just relationship. They like to switch it up a lot. You feel me? Very creative individuals, though. Very creative, very intelligent. Know how to remedy. They might be, especially if Mercury is stronger, they might be having some sort of expertise or some sort of mastery in relation to medicines, in relation to understanding the bodily systems and how to bring correction or healing to the bodily systems or whatnot, right? Definitely can be great for that. Definitely can be a great person to go to for like holistic healing, or homeopathy, or Ayurveda, or herbal Dr. Sabi, all of that. Even from a, because K2 is with Mercury, so it'll give a influence on the spiritual side as well. Like, this is a great combination for individuals who are just strong healers physically, mentally and spiritually as well. You feel me? And they should be definitely employed, or, employ themselves into servicing, those around them, or servicing the masses, and bringing healing to the collective. Definitely, Mercury and K2 conjunction is definitely able to do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's quick and it's masterful. You got a quick planet who's very intelligent. You got a quick planet who's a master himself, Mercury, and who likes to do what it does for fun. And then you have, the old dirty yogi, the spiritual master, K2. So when they come together, it can definitely bring a specialized intelligence. You feel me? A priceless intelligence and an ability to cut through, you know, certain problems or issues, especially when it comes to the health and the medical situation and whatnot, right? So yeah, this is actually not too bad of a combination. I'm not even gonna lie though. The bad part about it, Mercury is cool headed. Mercury, you know, Mercury is calm. Mercury is cool headed. Mercury doesn't necessarily like to get too deep into his feeling process, or emotionally erratic or chaotic or anything like that. Mercury likes to laugh. He likes to joke. He likes to play around. He likes to keep things lighthearted. You know what I'm saying, or whatnot. You feel me? Mercury's he's still a prince. He's a prince. He's royalty, and he hasn't assumed the king's position yet. So you feel me? He hasn't assumed the full responsibility of the throne, or to delegating the decisions of the kingdom, or you feel me, bills and taxes and all this extra shit and whatnot. So he's not necessarily under those adult levels of stress, right? He's still, you know what I'm saying, he's still a teen, he's a prince or whatever. So he's pretty much easy going, right? Easy going mentality, you feel me? Laughing, cracking jokes, talking shit, you feel me, studying and all that. But when Mercury comes with K2 is deep. K2 brings wrenching experiences. It brings experiences that we often don't want to